Hi everyone. Last year I made some suet bird food cakes with seed whatever in them for the winter bird feeder here, and it's been quite a successful video. It's been viewed by a lot of people, but lately I've had a couple of comments on it. I used peanut butter, and someone commented that you shouldn't use peanut butter because of the salt in it, and that evidently can be harmful to wild birds. Well, I wasn't aware of that. I don't think it killed any birds, but evidently peanut butter, the salt in it isn't good for wild birds. And also I didn't really use suet, I used lard, which made the cakes softer. The birds ate them, but in mild weather they got very soft. So I'm doing this over again. This time I'm going to use real beef suet, and the only thing I'm going to add is some good quality wild bird food seed. This is a lump of suet. Came out of that packaging. Bought it some time ago. It's been in the freezer. It's still frozen at this point. I don't know what happens with suet, if the whole thing melts or if there is, a lump of solid fat or whatever left over. Anyway, I have two lumps like this, and I've decided to start with one because I don't know how much liquid fat it's going to produce. I've been using some commercially bought suet cakes, and these are the trays that they come in. I saved the little trays to make my own suet cakes in because these just fit ideally into the suet feeder that I use. So I'm going to put this lump of frozen suet in this little roasting pan and put it in the oven at 350 degrees for however long it takes till it either completely dissolves or it has rendered out all the fat that it's going to render out. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but I'll come back and show you after I bring it out of the oven. Well, it certainly produced a lot of liquid fat, but there is a piece of solid stuff left here. Press down on it a bit and try to push out any fat that didn't get rendered out of it. Ooh, it's hard to pick out. Put that off to one side. I'll put that outdoor as well because I think the squirrels would enjoy that very much once it cools down. And this is just a large yogurt container of some of my bird seed. Quite how much to add, but I think the birds would probably say the more the better. I think that one container would be enough. Yeah, let's see if I can find a way of scooping it over into these trays without getting hot fat all over me. I think I'll try a soup ladle. Almost looks completely black on top. That's the black oil sunflower seeds, which are a real favorite of the chickadees and the blue jays for sure. Just nuthatches and different things like them too. I like this mixture. It has a great variety in it. Well, I won't force you to watch me do all 3 or 4, whatever I get here. I'll bring you back in a few minutes and show you the finished product. Well, that package was about 1 1/3 pounds of suet, and it made 3 of these trays, and and plus a nice piece of fat left over, which I do plan to put that outside, because I also feed 4 ravens that have been coming here every winter for years, and I know they will enjoy tearing that apart. So I'll just leave these on the counter here until they've solidified enough that I can move them, and then I'll put them in the refrigerator to finish hardening before I put one out in the feeder and show you what that looks like. Well, I've been out enjoying the cabin for a few hours, and this has solidified quite nicely. I won't try to unmold it though. Well, it is quite solid. I think I'll put them in the refrigerator still for an hour or so before I unmold them, and then I'll take one out and put it in the dispenser thing out at the bird table. I got thinking about the cost of this. That lump of suet that I used was $2.03, I think, and it made these 3 tubs, plus I get that piece of fat that I'm quite sure the ravens are going to enjoy. And then that large scoop of birdseed that I added. I don't know, impossible to say how much that actually cost me, but I doubt if it cost me 50 cents. It's a premium mixture that I buy. I really like it because it even has peanuts and things in it for the larger birds, but it's $32 for a 16-kilo bag. And that scoop, I don't know, quarter of a kilo maybe. It wasn't a lot of seed anyway, and certainly a lot more seed than would be in one of these commercial cakes when you buy them. So I would say $1.25 a piece they've cost probably. And normally when you see them in a shop, they're $1.99. Feed store, I've seen them at the feed store for $1.50. So I think this is a pretty good deal, and also the birds are getting a better deal out of it. Also, there are a lot more seeds in each one of these cakes, and higher quality than is usually in the commercial variety. Well, it's about 20 past 4. The temperature here is -10. Last night it went down to -11, and during the day today it warmed up all the way to -9, but it's dropping again now. Anyway, I'm just about to put a cake of the homemade suet cake in the feeder here. I don't know if that's on the screen or not, but it's very nice and solid. It's only been in the refrigerator for about an hour. You can probably see the chickadees are not shy. They'll come with me right at the feeder. It doesn't bother them at all. My niece and her daughters hold seed out in their hand, and the chickadees will come down and eat out of your hand. There's that all set up. Give you a little closer look at what it looks like. That's what I've been referring to, the wire cage. The wire is covered with plastic so the birds won't hurt themselves on it, but very popular in this kind of weather. I'd like to think I get a close-up of a chickadee here for you before I leave. We'll see what happens. Maybe not. There's one. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'll get this up on YouTube. My latest version of the bird suet cakes.